Brian Windhorst revealed the truth about an epidemic within the NBA, the 20-point comebacks happening game after game. We know this happened to the Cavaliers, but did it really happen for the reason we think it did? Hey everybody, Billy Beebe back with you on Cavs Digest. We're going to jump back into what happened to the Cavaliers in their series with the Indiana Pacers. A little bit more with that, what Windy had to say on his podcast. What's going on with the Pacers and Knicks right now and their comebacks and 20-point comebacks. And again, just more notes about what could happen to the Cavaliers in the future. As right now, we head to the offseason. A ton is happening with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Trade rumors, signings, things they're going to have to get set for the future. So this is the time, whether you've watched one video or 100 videos, that you want to subscribe to Cavs Digest, because we are taking every single topic. We are running with it. We are getting feedback from you guys. There's going to be a lot to discuss, a lot of names thrown in the hat right now that could be on the Cavs next season. A lot of the names thrown in the hat right now that could be off the Cavs next season. Again, if you're not rolling with Cavs Digest, now is the time. So, the Cavaliers blew a 20-plus point lead in that Game 2, and then in Game 5, both games at home, against the Indiana Pacers as they lose that series 4-1. Absolutely, those leads swung this series. By Game 5, a 20-point lead, in my opinion, did not feel safe whatsoever. I knew the Cavs were going to blow that lead, especially because they're up 20 with hitting 1-3. Okay, I knew they weren't going to win it. We had seen also the Knicks, right, had been blowing leads, and Boston had been blowing 20-point leads. And it seemed like a thing happening over and over and over in the NBA. And it finally hit me the other day that maybe this wasn't just a Cavs thing. Maybe it wasn't just the Cavs coaching or shooting, or maybe this is something happening within the NBA that, hey, no lead is safe. And it goes vice versa. A 20-point lead could easily become a 40-point lead. We've seen that a lot, right? And then, of course, my guy Windy discusses it on his podcast. If you've never listened to it, you can check it out. Brian Windhorst and the Hoops Perspective, Hoop Collective, they broke down this Knicks-Pacers series and why multiple times in this series and in the NBA right now, a 20-point lead just is not safe.
We obviously are in the comeback era of the NBA for two big reasons, I think. One, and this, throughout the regular season, how many 20-point leads got blown?
Yeah, 20-point leads ain't what they used to be.
Two reasons why I think that's the case. If you disagree, speak up. One, three-pointer.
Yep.
Two, the pace of play.
100%.
So, the teams play fast. This is the last 3-4 years in the NBA have been the fastest pace of play since the 60s. And so there's way more possessions in a game. So
There's one other one too for these late game things. The new timeout rule. Teams are running out of timeouts in a way they did not in the past. And all these Pacer comebacks in particular have all had the same exact thing as part of them, which is teams are calling timeouts early to try to inbound the ball. And then for the final 30, 40 seconds, they don't have timeouts. Guys are getting tired. Guys have to force passes in to try to get out of turnover situations, and it leads to a lot more chaos. So specifically in the late game ones, I think the timeout thing is part of it too.
I agree. Definitely the late game situational.
All right, so a lot going on there with the Cavaliers as far as why these 20-point leads are being blown within the NBA. And honestly, I think it makes sense when talking about the Cavaliers. Pace of play, three-point shooting, and timeouts. You look back at Game 2, that timeout issue, the Cavs ran out of them. They had trouble inbound. Now, part of that is because they had trouble inbounding the ball. They had trouble, with the way they were getting past half court. They were having issues there. The Pacers shot an unbelievable percentage to come back in these instances, and it just seems like that fits the Cavs' bill perfectly. Pace of play, I know, is another big thing. We can talk about how we feel about the Cavs' pace of play all we want, but I'm interested in your guys' opinion going back and looking at those games the Cavaliers lost. Is it something they need to fix, or is this just something that happens within the NBA now that, hey, no lead is safe, you need to hit your threes too, you need to calm down the pace of play, you need to manage your timeouts, I personally think it was game specific, right? The Cavaliers, I don't think they shot it well. That was definitely the case in Game 5. Game 4 also, I mean, we can track things like Sam Merrill not shooting well, Dean Wade not shooting well. But you go to Game 5, I mean, the whole team, you had 1-3 and a 20-point lead. And as I said before, I knew the lead was not safe after that. For the Knicks, the other night they come back against the Pacers. I think they went to a pace and defensive lineup, so they were getting stops, running up the floor, and scoring. Are the Cavs able to play with pace? That's another question I have. You got Donovan Mitchell, who's got a sore knee by the end of the year. Darius Garland, who's got a bad toe. Other guys who are banged up. It just doesn't seem like high pace is something the Cavaliers can do. And if they can't play high pace, then they're definitely not able to keep up with high pace. So that could be another key reason that they lost these games. I know some of us just came out of that series thinking, hey, they didn't shoot it well. They got outcoached. The better team won. I know the excuses are flowing, but hearing this from Brian Windhorst and the rest of the guys on his podcast kind of breaking down, I don't want to say an epidemic, but something that's definitely true in the NBA and we're seeing happen over and over again. It's interesting to me. It's interesting to me that, we're seeing this within the NBA. And I know a lot of us have asked ourselves, does it make us feel better that so-and-so's blowing leads too, that the Pacers blew it or the Knicks blew it? I don't know. I don't necessarily feel better about it, but it does kind of make me think, hey, maybe this wasn't a team individual issue with the Cavaliers. It's definitely something to note going forward, because in the NBA, playoffs now especially, if you go up 20, if you're up 19, if you're up 15, I am no longer noting that as some type of giant safe lead. Right, I am pushing my team to go up more and more and more. This is what we saw against the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are down 3-1. The one time they won a game, they won by almost 40, or 40 plus, and that's because they put their foot on the gas. As much as you can erase the 20-point lead, you can expand a 20-point lead right now in the NBA. I still think the Cavaliers had their issues. They didn't shoot well. They didn't get much help from Ty Jerome or Isaac Okoro or Dean Wade. Guys like Sam Merrill and Donovan Mitchell seemed to just slow down a little bit shooting-wise. Darius Garland was hurt. So I think it's somewhere in the middle between that NBA, the truth of what's happening in the NBA and the truth of what happened for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Did those games cost for the Cavaliers? Did that make you feel like that was an NBA thing or a team-specific thing? Did Windy really reveal something about the Cavs? That they were just part of a bigger issue in the NBA? Or still, was this team-specific and possibly something the Cavaliers need to fix going into next season? We'll have all that and more here on Cavs Digest. Again, free agency really, really hot. Be sure to subscribe to Cavs Digest.